Think back with me. Way back for some of us. Back to your childhood. You there? Who did you want to be when you grew up? Maybe you wanted to be an attorney. Maybe you wanted to be a doctor, an astronaut. Did anybody want to be the president? Yeah. And we had these dreams. We had these goals in our life. And regardless of who it was that you wanted to be, I wonder, are you that today? Did you become that doctor or that astronaut or that attorney? Did you achieve the goals that you had? But as you've thought back, who are the people in your life who inspired you to be that which you wanted to be? Who embodied that dream for you that you looked up to? Now again, did you become what you once dreamed? I know when I was a kid, I was an 80s kid. And so I had two goals in my life, total, in the 80s. I wanted to fly like Michael Jordan. And I can confirm, it is indeed true, white men can't jump. The closest I ever got is I get to wear his shoes. But what really drove me about flying wasn't necessarily basketball. What drove me about flying was Top Gun. I wanted to be a fighter pilot. The speed and the agility of those F-16s. And look, let's face it, whenever Maverick would put on those Wayfarer sunglasses, you were super cool. Can I ask you who you are today? It's obvious that I'm not Michael Jordan and I'm not a fighter pilot. But at some point in my life, I had to make the decision that I would step into being the most unique me. Even though I admired certain people and even envied certain people, I knew that my life would be empty and I would be left chasing dreams my entire life if they were someone else's dreams. I needed to be the most unique me. And today, you need to decide, will you continue to dream dreams of others, or will you step into that future to be the most unique you? Now, there's a couple of things that I really love, and science is one of them. Scientists have spent decades trying to figure out the human DNA, the human genome. There are billions of pairs, and there's so much, in fact, that if you were to take them and like stretch them out, go all the way to the sun and back several hundred times, do you know how long that would take? Let's just break it down. Let's just say that we looked at one piece, just one strand of DNA. Scientists tell us that it would take about 190 years. Do you have that kind of time to figure out who you are? Yeah, me neither. But today we can learn together that there's a much simpler way. I'm going to give you three truths today that if you'll step into those truths, if you'll own these truths, you will become the most unique you, the you that this world needs desperately. And those three things are this. Number one, your perspective. No one else on this earth has the perspective that you have. Second, your voice. No one else has the voice that you have. And third, your fingerprints. No one else can leave the prints in this world that you can. But why the I? Have you ever thought about it? I love spy movies. You like spy movies? I love it because there comes this point in time, this tension in the story, where they were going to go into a vault or into this locked room, and the only way that you get in is through a retinal scan. And so I was fascinated by this. What's so special about a retinal scan? Well, the retina in your eyeball is an intricate pattern of blood vessels. And no one's blood vessels grow the same way. So when they do an infrared scan, it literally reads and takes pictures of these vessels, and they look at it, and no one can duplicate your eyes. You see, but not just from a forensic standpoint. There's no one else who can see into the other humans that are in our lives like you can. To see them for who they are, for their worth and their value. To speak into, to see, and to be bold enough to know that someone else can do great things. And here's the key. Your perspective on how you see other people is wildly formed by how you see yourself. And so when your perspective is such to be the most unique you, it's easier to become that which you desire. So what about other forms? You know, they do the retina scan, but they also can use your vocal cords. Did you know that your voice can be tracked forensically? You've seen the shows, the movies, where they listen to a phone call and they go, yep, that's this person, and they identify it. Well, there are several factors, both biological and also environmental, that determine your voice and your voice patterns. Like the track of your voice and the length of your vocal cords. Your environmental, growing up, how you grew up to speak, your rhythms and how you pronunciate. It's the difference between, when people say you all and when people say y'all. So our voices can forensically be tracked because of all of those things. But did you know that your voice can do way more than be forensically tracked? Your voice can inspire movements that change the world. I can't imagine a world where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did not use his voice. But we don't have to be just like someone else. You have a unique voice. And when you use it to speak out against injustice and up for love, you'll change the world. But you'll also become the most unique you. What about that third one? What about your fingerprints? Have you ever thought about your fingerprints? Are you a twin? Twins don't have the same fingerprints, although they share the same DNA. Because fingerprints are determined, actually they begin to form in the womb. So environmental factors like fluids and the movement of the fetus actually begin to shape and mold these ridges that we call fingerprints. And so no one else has fingerprints like yours. You know what else? No one else can do the work. No one else can do the things to make this world a better place. They can't do it anybody but you. There are things in this world that you're going to need to put your hands upon to make it work, to find solutions, to serve mankind, and more importantly, to actually become and use the gifts and the abilities that you've been given. Can you take a breath with me? You can be the most unique you. And when you remember, it's not about your DNA. It's not where you came from. It's not exactly what you're capable of. It's actually who you are. So, we began our time together by thinking back. But I want us to think forward for a second. You see, this is a TEDx. You're going to hear some incredible ideas. But what are you going to do with them? Will you just listen and then turn it off? Or will you actually listen, lean in, and leave here today a changed person? Because your perspective makes you the most unique you. Because your voice makes you the most unique you. And because your fingerprints make you the most unique you. Does the world still need astronauts and teachers and presidents? Yeah. But what this world desperately needs is the most unique you. Thank you.